Welcome to the Meletop Show. Meletop ke? With me again, your host Faika Nabiha and my partner Hanisa. As usual, every week we have interesting viral videos to be presented to our loyal viewers. So this week, we have another videos to be shared with all of you. The first video will show a teacher who is emotionally angry towards her students. And the second video is going to be about a teacher who has no common sense towards her colleagues. Have you watched it? If you don't, let's watch it together. Roll it!
Ni apa ni? Semua salah ni. Aku ajar pun tak reti lagi ke? Ni, kamu. Kerja apa kamu buat ni? Hantar pun di sini. Ingat, saya ni mak kamu kan. Senang-senang nak pergi Melaka. Aduh, semuanya salah. Buat balik. Esok hantar, saya tak kira. Saya nak esok pagi ada atas meja saya. Berapa saya tak ada esok. Faham tak? Ni pen merah mana pen merah? Pen merah pun susah cari. Aduh. Lepas tu awak panggil Ifan main sini. Saya nak bagi balik buku latihan yang mereka dah hantar. Berapa orang je betul ni? Nak kata bengap tak bengap. Pandai. Sekolah pandai. Tapi bila bagi latihan semua tak reti jawab. Apa ni? Buat marah. Kau pergi orang marah. Tengok ni. Koyak. Susahnya koyak ah. Ni. Semua ni. Tak. Awak bagi tahu kat Ifan. Kita suruh dia buat balik buku-buku ni. Sebiji saya nak. Saya tak kira. Ni laptop ni tak buka-buka ni saya bah. Susah sungguh. Aduh. Tu, pick up je bah.
Cantik ni kalau pakai waktu raya. Tu kat TikTok. Confirm aku viral. Add to cart. Weh. Aku nak mengadu sikit masalah aku boleh? Ngadulah. Ya aku penat dah jaga budak-budak bawah aku tu. Budak bawah kau macam? Kau jaga form 3 kan? Lah, apa yang susahnya aku jaga form 1 kot. Form 1. Kau form 3. Apa yang susah sangat? Tak adalah weh. Diorang kat setiap hari kan? Ada je masalah diorang. Lagi-lagi budak Singajar tu. Tak kata dia diam. Penat aku. Ya ke? Ya. Aku ni nak kata kau ni bodoh. Boleh lah bodoh sikit. Takkan benda mudah pun kau nak kata susah. Alah. Tak adalah. Aku saja je cerita masalah aku kat kau. Yelah. Tapi senang je. Kau suruh je diorang duduk diam. Nanti diorang duduk dah diam. Kau bagi gula-gula. Aku bagi gula-gula ke budak terus dengar tu. Yelah. Okay lah weh. Aku ada kerja ni. Okay. Aku dah dulu lah. Apa Raja? Okay.
Astaghfirullahalazim. This is not supposed to be happens. So, our topic today is self-development and strategies. So, we invited two great guests from a little program today. Our first guest is Dr. Najah Alia. Dr. Najah Alia is a psychologist from Malaysia Psychology Center. And the second guest is Cik Nur Arzani Danish. Cik Nur Arzani is a counselor from Malaysia Counselor Department. Welcome to the Meletop programs today. Well, Dr. Najah, what can Dr. Najah share about the today's topic?
Before we go any further, first let me explain about self-development skill. Self-development skill are personality traits, inherent social cues, and the ability to communicate. These skills can make people maximize their emotional intelligence, social intelligence, practical intelligence, and spiritual intelligence. From the first video, I can say that the teachers need to explore more about the emotional intelligence. Okay, for your information, emotional intelligence is the measure of an individual's ability to recognize and manage their emotion, and also the emotion of other people, both individual and in groups. Daniel Goleman divide emotional intelligence into two, which is the first one, personal competence, And the second one is social competence. For your information, Daniel Goleman is the person who developed emotional intelligence. Personal competence is about how to manage ourselves. In personal competence, there are three parts, which is self-awareness, self-regulation, and motivation. For the self-awareness, people need to aware and understand their emotions so that they can think what they should do and what they shouldn't do. Self-awareness encompasses three, which is the first, emotional awareness, accurate self-assessment, and self-confidence. When we say to the emotions, it is wrong to think of emotion as either positive or negative. It actually only have either appropriate or inappropriate. For example, being angry is usually associated with being a negative emotion. However, in my opinion, it can be a completely reasonable and appropriate emotion in certain circumstances. If you watch the video, the teacher is not aware about her emotion, and she just show her emotion without thinking other feelings. As a teacher, we cannot be like that, but we still can be angry to students. However, the teachers cannot be too emotional. Okay, the second point of personal competence is self-regulation. Self-regulation is concerned with how to control and manage ourselves, our emotions, inner resources, and the abilities. It includes self-control, or how we control our emotion ourselves, trustworthiness, consciousness, adaptability, and innovation. Trustworthiness and consciousness are being consistent and responsible with personal values. For adaptability and innovation, people should know how to be flexible in responding to change. Okay, and the third point of personal competence is motivation. Self-motivation includes personal drive to improve and achieve, commitment to the what we call goals, initiative, or readiness to act on opportunities, and optimism, and also resilience. There are 4 elements that can make up motivation, which is the first element is mindset. Mindset has 2 types. The first is fixed mindset. Fixed mindset believe that talent is ingrained and that we cannot change our level of ability. And the second type of mindset is growth mindset. Growth mindset believe that they can improve their skill through the hard work and effort. Second element of motivation is commitment to personal or organizational goals. And the third element is initiative, which defined as readiness to act on opportunities. And the last element is optimism, which is the ability to keep going and pursue goals in the face of setback. This is also known as resilience. Okay, that's all for personal competence. For social competence, there are only 2 points, which is social skill and empathy. For your information, social competence will teach people on how to handle relationship with others. Okay, social skill is the skill to handle and influence other people's emotion effectively. This skill is very important for teachers because it includes persuasion and influencing skill, communication skill, conflict management skill, leadership skill, change management skill, rapport, and team working skill. By developing social skill, being easy to talk to, being a good listener, being sharing and trustworthy trustworthiness, teacher can become more charismatic and attractive to others. Okay, and the last point for social competence is empathy. Empathy is awareness of the feeling and emotion of other people. Empathy helps people to develop a stronger understanding of other emotions, other people's emotions, or other people's situations. Empathy also one of important things in education. However, empathy often be difficult to achieve. For that, I think I can suggest a few steps that teachers or everyone can apply in order to build empathy. The first one is they can learn to listen effectively to both the verbal and non-verbal message of the other people, including body movement, gesture, and physical sign of emotion. Next, they also can use questions to find out more about the other people and what their feelings and their feedback to clarify that they have correctly understood their feelings. And last but not least, acknowledge and respect the feeling of other people even though sometimes there are some disagreement, and avoid making comment or statement that are judgmental, belittling, rejecting, or undermining.
So, Dr. Nacha, what are the benefits of emotional intelligence?
When we talk to benefits, emotional intelligence has a lot of benefits, but I think it's enough if I share 3 benefits. First, when people know how to manage the emotion, they can build a new relation in a better way, especially the relationship between teachers and students. The student will be more comfortable to refer anything about education, and sometimes they also can refer about their life with the teachers. Next, everyone have different emotions and feelings such as anger, anxiety, fear, happiness, sadness, and others' feelings. Everyone should know where to be emotional, where and when to be not emotional. And emotional intelligence will help students and teachers to communicate better with others. For students, emotional intelligence will help students to express their view and idea without hesitation. And last benefit of emotional intelligence is everyone tends to be stressed, but stress also can ruin people completely, and it is the biggest hurdle when they want to do something new. Emotional intelligence will help teachers, students, and I think everyone to manage stress even in difficult times. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for your sharing. Next, how about the second video? Miss Azani, can you share your thoughts about it?
Thank you, Faika. Actually, the second video, we can see that the teacher does not being a good listener and did not think first before speak up. Okay, that situation can be happen if we does not have the social intelligence. Okay, actually social intelligence is the capacity to communicate and form a relationship with empathy and assertiveness. It comes from knowing yourself and exercising proper emotional management. We can say it closely linked to emotional intelligence, but it is not exactly the same thing. Okay, and the example of social intelligence is including knowing when to talk and listen, what to say and what to do. Timing is a big part of social intelligence. For example, someone who is imperceptive or someone who may tell a funny joke but at the wrong time, or not show enough interest when meeting someone new. Okay, the example is when someone have a lack of social intelligence. It's okay, I can explain more deeper about this social intelligence, maybe by giving you the signs of the social intelligence. Okay, usually the person who have the social intelligence have the effective listening. For example, a person who possess social intelligence does to respond, but truly pay attention to what a person saying. And the other folks in the conversation walk away feeling like they were understood and they made a connection between them. And next, the conversational skills. Have you ever seen someone work in the room? They have conversational skills that enable them to carry on a discussion with practically anybody. They are tactful, appropriate, humorous, and sincere in the conversation, and they remember details about people that allow the dialogue to be more meaningful. Other than that, the reputation management. Socially intelligent people consider the impression that they make on other people. Consider one of the most complex elements of social intelligence. By managing a reputation, it requires a careful balance. A person must thoughtfully create an impression on another person while still being authentic. And last but not least, they have a lack of arguing with others. Okay, someone with social intelligence will understand that arguing or proving a point by making another person feel bad is not the way to go. Okay, they do not outright reject another person's ideas, but rather listen to them with an open mind, and even when it's not a good idea, that they will personally agree with. Okay, that's all.
Alright, now Miss Azani, how can someone implement social intelligence and what are the benefits of it?
Okay, first about the strategy, or in other words, we can say on how and the ways we can do to develop these skills, right? Okay, in my opinion, the ways that we can do to develop these skills are maybe by paying attention, close attention to what and who is around you, and then second, must work on to increasing your emotional intelligence, just what Dr. Naja stated before, and you also need to respect cultural differences, and next, maybe by practicing the active listening, and you also can appreciate the important people in your life and around you, and the most important is stop and avoid being judgmental person. Okay, and another one, what are the benefit if we develop these skills? So if we implement these self-development skills, the benefit that we will get are the first, verbal and non-verbal fluency. This is because conversational skills are the most basic form of social intelligence, right? And verbal and non-verbal expressions are the primary platform for sending any message. And the use of the right words, the ideal tone, and clear intention underlies the first step to effective communications. Okay, second, you can increase the knowledge of social rules and rules. Okay, when you interact with a group, knowing their social rules, custom, that was a fundamental skills for socially intelligent people. This facilitated interaction with individuals who belong to different social groups, like people of different ages, countries, religion, or cultural identities. And next, you can improving your listening skills. Active listening is instrumental in the development of social intelligence. It helps to connect with other people, prevent conflict, and enable learning through dialogue. This contributes significantly to personal growth. And next is understanding on how other people's emotion works. Okay, understanding what triggers people's emotion, either negatively or positively, is a key of component in the exercise of empathy. Okay, this competency enables communication that takes into considerations the attributes and sensibility of other people, which mentioned it, this ability allows people to adapt to different social environments. Having a clear idea of what expected of us in a variety of different settings reduce the stresses and in any situation and enables more constructive interaction. And last point, I will give the last point is the self-image and impressions management. This is the ability to present ourselves in a way that connects with others without stretching too far from our natural personality. Okay, the objective is to maintain a sincere demeanor that appeals to others, show empathy, and reinforce our idea of ourselves. Okay, that's all the benefit that I can give. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Azani, for the sharing. So guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
So yeah, we are back in Meletup ke? Okay, next actually we have another two guests to share their thought about the self-development skills. But before that, let's watch this video together. Rolling.
Okey kelas, sekarang ni awak ada dah grup masing-masing. Jadi cikgu nak awak duduk dalam grup masing-masing. Lepas tu bincang benda awak cikgu royak saat ni. Boleh ke dah?
Boleh cikgu.
Okey, boleh. Kalau boleh, cikgu bagi dah kebebasan kepada awak. Duduklah mana awak nak duduk. Lepas tu bincang. Awak boleh bincang start sekarang. Okey?
Weh, duduk sini weh. Sini.
Jangan bising. Jangan bising. Ya Allah. Jangan tarik ke situ. Akak. Jangan tarik bising. Kelas pernah nak belajar no. Ya weh, jangan bising. Astagfirullahaladzim. Apa ni?
Aduh, mesti cikgu ngadu pula ke pengetua kelas aku bising. Aduh kan ini nak buat ni.
Awak tengok muka macam tu. Dia cantik ke? Muka macam makuk jambat. Loh, ni Caca baca buku pula. Menyampah aku. Ustaz baca buku. Nyampah. Cikgu dah sampai.
Bangun. Selamat pagi, cikgu.
Selamat pagi, cikgu. Selamat pagi, murid-murid. Okey, for today, kita akan belajar topik baru iaitu fraction number. Fraction number. Okey, pelajar. Sampai sini saja. Faham semua? Ada apa-apa soalan yang ingin ditanya? Cikgu. Saya ada soalan nak tanya. Ya, Siti, soalan apa? Saya tak faham cikgu mengajar. Boleh cikgu terangkan semula? Okey, Siti. Part mana kamu tak faham? Part ni, cikgu. Saya tak tahu macam mana nak guna formula ni. Okey, Siti. Untuk part ni, kamu kena keluar. Oh, sudah faham, cikgu. Oh, senang je, no? Cikgu, boleh cikgu tulis formula balik kat buku saya? Saya dalam semua, cikgu. Benda banyak sangat. Boleh, Siti. Cikgu boleh tulis formula dekat kamu. Asalkan kamu siapkan latihan yang cikgu beri, okey?
Okay, now we invite two more guests to discuss more about the topic today. The guests is Associate Professor Dr. Faika Fazura, a famous motivator, and Ustazah Hajah Nisa Nilofa, Dean of Faculty for Islamic Studies. Welcome to Meletup. Dr. Faika, can you share your thoughts about the video just now?
Alright, thank you. I want to highlight on the first video. From the video shown, we could see that the teacher was struggling to handle a chaos classroom. I think that this might have happened due to the lack of practical intelligence. What is practical intelligence? According to Sternberg 1998, practical intelligence is the ability of an individual to deal with problems or situations in everyday life by applying knowledge based on experiences. Teachers with practical intelligence are able to figure out the best solution to handle the classroom. It can be either from their own experiences or by watching others on how they manage their classroom. By having a little more street smart, common sense, and the know-how skills, the teachers in the video will be able to practice a good classroom management. Now, I would like to draw everyone's attention on the characteristics of practical intelligence. The characteristics are divided into three, which are how to react to your environment, how to adapt with your environment, and how to change the environment to suit your needs. First, how you're supposed to react to your environment. People with practical intelligence have the ability to apply knowledge in the real world, and they can navigate the environment even in unfamiliar circumstances. Second, how would one adapt with environment? Practical intelligence can be found among any trades and professions. People with practical intelligence are easily adapting with new environment by learning from their previous experiences. Last but not least, how would you change the environment to suit your needs? Street smarts, common sense, know-how, and a way reading people are the characteristics of practical intelligence. These people are able to influence others and get what they want.
Doctor, can you share with us on how to develop practical intelligence and what are the benefits of practical intelligence?
Ways to develop practical intelligence are: first, learn to code. You should try to learn computer coding. It helps to stimulate your brain. It does not only help you to understand how a computer works, but it also helps you analyze and tear down problems by creating brain synapses. Second, drawing. You don't have to know how to draw or paint. You don't even need a few art lessons. All you need to do is sketching something. Sketching freely helps you to learn how to make angles and curves and even shadows. This exercise trains your brain to notice more details. With practical intelligence, details are important when solving real-world problems. Besides, what you can do is building things. It doesn't take analytical thinking or creativity to build a simple object or useful tool. If you fail or you create something less than perfect, it's okay. You are still exercising your practical knowledge and activities. So, my suggestion, go and search for any video that can guide you through making small craft or wooden projects. Last but not least, this is my favorite part. Play video games. Some people might say that play video games may not be good for you. Hey people, talk to my hand. I'm just kidding. Playing video games is actually a good practice for practical intelligence. Games stimulate your thinking, especially the ability to multitasking. Making decisions are easier and solving problems seems to come naturally as well. There are various of games that enables to help improving hand or eye coordination, which may also improve thinking skills generally. So, these are my suggestions on how to develop practical intelligence. Now, let's move on to the benefits of practical intelligence. I will divide on how it may benefit to teachers and students. First of all, it can build self-confidence. Practical intelligence helps teachers to boost self-confidence when communicating with the students. Teachers with practical intelligence know how to lead the classroom and confront with problems without getting nervous. Practical intelligence also helps students to build self-confidence whenever they face problems in their study. Students with practical intelligence are able to identify their strengths and weaknesses in every subject. In consequences to that, they are able to find solutions and overcome the problems. Besides, an individual may need to differentiate effective different styles. For teacher with practical intelligence know how to use different teaching styles that suit their students. Teachers who are able to apply various effective teaching styles in the teaching process manage to attract their students' interest to listen to them and at the same time to be cooperative in the classroom. Students with practical intelligence know how to choose learning style that suit them the best. The students can decide on their own their learning styles that are suitable for each subject they are studying, such as visual, auditory, and kinesthetic styles. Lastly, practical intelligence enables to control emotion. For teachers are able to control their emotion in any situation and be professional. Teachers with practical intelligence are more likely to become less stressed and free spirits since they know how to manage their emotion well. For students are able to control their emotion whenever they face and solve real-life problems. Students with practical intelligence would not be easily fret and crumble under pressure. So, these are the benefits of practical intelligence that I could share with all of you.
Thank you, Doctor, for your sharing. But how about the second video? Lisa, can you share your thoughts about it to us?
On the second video, what I could tell that the student was like a spiritual intelligence. Before we go further, what is a spiritual intelligence? Spiritual intelligence is a term used by some philosophers, psychologists, and development theorists to indicate the spiritual parallel with the IQ, intelligence quotient, and EQ, emotional quotient. Another definition of spiritual intelligence is a higher dimensions of intelligence that activate the qualities and capabilities of soul in the form of wisdom, compassion, integrity, joy, love, creativity, and peace. When we talk about the spiritual intelligence, it is good to have a look in the religious. Have stated by Muhammad Mahyudin Nafis in 2007, he said that having a good and pure soul enable the one to control them from doing the things that are forbidden by laws and religions. The development of individual Islamic spiritual intelligence built up when the individual have a patience, gratefulness, engrossment, good perception, good relationships, honesty, depends on God, sincerity, and pietism. Besides that, the importance of heart has been mentioned by Bukhari and Muslim, as been stated by Rasulullah SAW, whereby in Adam's body contains a piece of meat in physical form that in fact refers to the pure heart. If the heart is good, the whole body will be good. If the heart is bad, the whole body will be bad as well. It shows that in our body, it has identification. We can say that a part of our body have an identification for ourselves. When the part is good, we're going to be a good person. We are already taken a look of definition spiritual intelligence in general context. Now we are going to look on scientific concept of spiritual intelligence. From the diagram, we can say that on the right side of the brain is EQ, which is emotional intelligence, while the left side of the brain is IQ, which is intellectual intelligence. But where is the spiritual intelligence? Spiritual intelligence contains for the whole brains, where including the emotional intelligence part and intellectual intelligence parts. From the equation, we can say that in order to get spiritual intelligence, we need to plus intellectual intelligence and emotional intelligence. Okay, now we are going to move on with the characteristic of spiritual intelligence. Here we have 12 characteristics of spiritual intelligence, but I am not going to touch everything here. We're going to see only 5 important characteristics of spiritual intelligence. The first characteristic of spiritual intelligence is self-awareness. Self-awareness is referred to knowing what we are feeling at any given moment. Spiritual self-awareness means to recognize what we care about, what we live for, and what we would die for. Besides that, self-awareness, when we aware what is belong to us, we aware the conditions that we need to be motivated. The next characteristic of spiritual intelligence is holism. Holism is actually saying a larger pattern, relationships, and connection. It also means by having a sense of belonging. Here I can say that holism is actually about relationship between peoples. For example, me and my friend, we are friends. The sense of belonging, which means that we know, we acknowledge we are belong to family, we are belongs to God because God created us. So holism are talk about relationship and belonging. Now we proceed to the next characteristic, which is spontaneity. Spontaneity is about living in and being responsive to the moment. We can respond everything that happens to us spontaneously. The next characteristic is feel independent. Feel independent is about standing against the crowds and having one's own connections. We need to be independent on whatever we're doing. We cannot always stand between others. We cannot depend on others. Last but not least, the characteristic of spiritual intelligence is positive use of adversity. Positive use of adversity in a simple word is learning and growing from mistakes. In life, we need to learn to grow and never give up whatever we're doing. Overall, in order to become successful teacher in future, we need to have these 5 skills. Now, we're going to proceed on 21st skill of spiritual intelligence. 21st skill of spiritual intelligence can be divided into 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is higher self-awareness. Higher self-awareness contains 5 points. The first one is awareness of own worldview. The The second is awareness of life purpose. The third is awareness of value hierarchy. The fourth is complexity of inner thought. The last is awareness of ego self. The second quadrant is ego self mastery. Ego self mastery have 5 points that we need to take a look. The point or the skill are: the first, commitment to spiritual growth. The second is keeping spirit self in charge. The third is living your purpose and value. The fourth is sustaining faith. The last is seeking guidance from spirit. Now we go to the third quadrant. The third quadrant is universal awareness. Universal awareness comes with 6 skills. Universal awareness comes with 6 skills. The first skill is awareness of interconnectedness of life. The second is awareness of worldview of others. The third is the space perceptions. The fourth is awareness of limitations. The fifth is awareness of spiritual principle. And the last, transcendent oneness. The last quadrant is social mastery. On the social mastery, we have another 5 skills of spiritual intelligence. The first is wise of effective teacher. The second is wise of effective leader. The third is wise decisions. The fourth is calming. And the last is being aligned with the flow of life.
Thank you, Sazanisa. But what are the strategies and the impact of the spiritual intelligence itself?
There are strategies to increase spiritual intelligence among the students. How the teacher is going to promote or increase the spiritual intelligence to students? The first strategy is doing the activity related to leadership quality. The teacher need to create activity in class in order to develop the leadership quality in class. The next strategy is present some real-life situations. For example, the teacher need to connect and make a relationship between the content of learning and real-life situation. The next strategy is let them purpose an idea. This is good because in 21st century teaching and learning process, we know that the student center is one of the type of teaching. So, letting the student to purpose an idea is one of the pedagogy that have in 21st century teaching and learning skill. Now, let's take a look on another strategy, which are meditational activities. The teacher should promote the meditational activity in class. For example, in order to make the students focus on our class, the teacher make the meditational before the class, such as deep breathing exercise. Last but not least, the strategy to increase the spiritual intelligence among the student is involve the story related to the God. For example, for Muslim teacher, they should need to relate everything that they teach with Islam, so that the student will not forget the purpose of life as a Khalifah. Now we take a look on impact of spiritual intelligence in real life. First is the impact on personal life. Spiritual intelligence free you from neediness and clinginess in your personal relationships. When you realize you already have within what you seek from others, such as love, happiness, you are then free to act and interact without any agenda or envy. Now, we take a look on impact in family life. The culture of family life can easily revolve around too much familiarity. This results in behavior which can swing from the rejection, resistance, avoidance to attachment and dependency. Now, last but not least, the impact in working life. When spiritual intelligence is brought into the workplace, the work becomes a creative process of service and contributions. That's all from me. Thank you.
So thank you, Saza, for your sharing. And actually, we are already at the end of our show. Thank you for all our guests for coming today. And so guys, thank you for watching and see you guys again next week. Stay safe and stay at home. Kita jaga kita.